Hello friends, and welcome back to the Mothership. Today we're going to be smoking up our very own Korean style gochujang pulled pork with our very own Korean barbecue sauce. Let's get started. I have here a boneless pork butt. This is a very small one, and unfortunately this is what my grocery store was giving me to work with. I would prefer to bone in one, and I would prefer it a little bit larger, but you can adjust the amounts based on the size of your pork butt. So this one's about 3 pounds. Usually I like to go with a bone-in of somewhere around 9. But beggars can't be choosers. So, as with most pork butts, take off any excess fat that won't render down. Nothing too crazy. That looks pretty good actually from the store. Now what we're going to do, instead of salting and seasoning, I am just going to use gochujang, which is a fermented red pepper paste. It is pretty spicy. It's got some salt in it, which is why I'm not going to add any extra salt. And I am just going to rub it down as if you were using, as like a binder for pork ribs or something. Rub it down completely, throw it into the fridge and let it kind of marinate. You could let it marinate for overnight. You could let it go for a couple hours. Basically, the longer you let it on here, the spicier your food's going to get. And then I'm going to put it onto the smoker exactly like this and just let it do its thing until I go for the wrap. So let's just get this completely covered into the fridge, and then we'll come back when we want to actually throw it on the smoker. Our pork is now on the smoker at 180 degrees. I have it set on the top shelf as always, and I'm just going to let it do its thing. Once it starts drying out a bit, I might spritz it down, and I'm just going to let it do its thing for a while until I bump it up to 225. Usually I let my pork shoulders run for about 3 to 4 hours at 180, and then I'll bump it up to 225 until I'm ready to wrap it. This is looking pretty good, still some moistness. We don't really have a rub on here, so I'm not really going to get a bark formation. So I'm really just going to let it go until it looks like it's about time for us to really bump up the cook. Usually that'll be somewhere around 160 degrees when the meat stalls out, and it will really benefit from a wrapping. So we're just gonna watch this, let it do its thing at 180, spritz when necessary, and then jump in when it's time to wrap. Our pork is slowly coming up to temp, and at this point it's about time to make our Korean barbecue sauce. What we're gonna do is take all of the ingredients listed below, obviously, put them into a pan, and we're gonna put them onto our stovetop at medium to low heat. Mix everything nice and good together, and start to simmer and reduce a little bit. With everything nice and simmered down, what we're going to do is add a teaspoon of cornstarch, put it back on, let it keep boiling, and that should help thicken up the sauce a little bit. My instant read is now showing my pork at about 165 degrees, which means it's time to wrap it. I put some butter on top, and as you can see, it's got a nice red color. This is going to be nice and spicy and nice and delicious. And then what I'm going to do is the same thing I do with most of my pork butts. I'm going to just add some brown sugar on top. You can really do as much as you want here. There's not a lot of sweetness on the rub itself. The barbecue sauce has a lot of sugar to it, but I'm going to just put some sugar on top. We've got our butter, and now I'm going to wrap it. And to do so, as you can see, I've got a cross pattern. I'm going to just start with going the long way like so. And then come up and over, just like that. We should keep everything in there. And then back onto the smoker we go. And this is going to go until it probes tender, somewhere just north of 200 degrees. After another few hours on the smoker, fully wrapped up, our pork has hit the magical number of just over 200 degrees, which means it is time to shred. Ooh, this is nice and warm. This is where having gloves with liners really comes in handy, guys. But basically what we're going to do is just shred this pork up nice and good. Now once you have everything pulled to the size that you are looking for, it is now time to make our sliders. I have our barbecue sauce next to me. And what you could do is you could mix the coleslaw with the barbecue sauce, or you could make the sliders and put the barbecue sauce on top, or you could have the barbecue sauce on the side. Obviously, your options are endless. What I'm going to do is to allow people to choose the amount of heat that they want. I'm going to have the barbecue sauce on the side, which means they're gonna put the coleslaw mix on top, add the barbecue sauce as much as they want, and then make the sliders that they are looking for. So this is gonna be pretty spicy, guys. So obviously this is kind of a choose your own adventure for how much spice you're actually looking for. Now we are done. These pulled pork sliders took actually longer than I thought they would. I did about a 3-pound boneless pork butt, and it took a lot longer than I expected. Just the nature of the game. But these are looking really good. They're very spicy, which I think is probably mostly due to the specific brand of gochujang sauce that I got versus some other ones. But you know what? A little spice isn't gonna kill you. And most importantly, these sliders are looking absolutely fantastic. I've tried the barbecue sauce, it's great. But most importantly, it's time to give it the old chomp. This is what I was looking for. It definitely has some spice to it. Ooh, you can really taste it on the back end. And it's pretty sweet, which is kind of how Korean barbecue sauces usually come out. This is really good. The coleslaw kind of counteracts the spice you're getting in there. And pulled pork is obviously perfect. Adding in that butter to the pulled pork when we wrapped it really also mellows out some of the spice that was on the pork itself. And then we added all that spice back in with the barbecue sauce. Really good cook, guys. Really delicious. And putting on a slider bun means I can eat like a ton of these and not feel horrible. You guys should give this a try if you're looking to change your pulled pork game, especially if you want to do something a little bit Asian style. As always, guys, I would love for you to give me what you're cooking down below in the comments. Like, subscription, all that jazz. And obviously, cook something fantastic, guys. I'll see you on the next cook.